some reason, this weekend, when we honor mothers, this country saw a spike in gun violence. In fact, that's where we're going to start with some breaking news out of California for you. At least one person is dead and multiple others injured after a shooting in Hollywood. The Los Angeles Fire Department says that the victims were all adults, and those injured have been transported to area hospitals. 3 are in critical condition. A motive for the shooting is unclear, at least at this moment. And this comes after a deadly Mother's Day weekend. At least 10 mass shootings happened across the country. That is according to the Gun Violence Archive. In Colorado, authorities are investigating another mass shooting less than 7 weeks after a gunman killed 10 people at a supermarket in that state. Laura Podesta is with us now from New York City. Laura, there was another incident that happened there this weekend as well in New York.
Good morning, Anne-Marie. Yes, in Times Square, police say 2 to 4 men got into a fight. One of them opened fire, shooting 3 innocent bystanders. Now, that shooter is still on the run this morning. The NYPD says they do know who he is, that he has gotten in trouble for illegal vending in the Times Square area before. A manhunt is underway in New York after a shooting in Times Square.
All 3 are innocent bystanders.
All are expected to survive, including a 4-year-old girl, seen here being rushed to an ambulance by Officer Alyssa Vogel.
We have a male party down on the ground.
In Massachusetts, a man is dead after driving an SUV through the doors of the Leicester police station.
The man exited the vehicle and immediately shouldered what appeared to be a rifle and aimed it at the police officers. The police officers then fired and shot the man.
Police in Colorado Springs are searching for a motive after a gunman killed 6 adults at a birthday party before killing himself.
This is terrible for a lot of people in a lot of ways.
Just outside of Baltimore, cops say a 56-year-old man shot his neighbors and set fire to his own townhouse. Witnesses say it was possibly to lure people outside.
There are 3 fatal victims.
Police shot and killed the man when they arrived on scene. And in Phoenix, a shooting at a hotel left 1 dead and 7 injured.
A group of people that were attending a function inside the hotel had some sort of altercation prior to the shooting.
The rash of shootings may reignite the gun debate in Washington, which quieted down after a string of deadly shootings more than a month ago.
This has to end. It's a national embarrassment.
According to the Gun Violence Archive, there have been at least 24 shootings this month where 4 or more people were shot. President Biden is expected to meet with congressional leaders on Wednesday. It's unclear if gun control will be on the agenda, but as we know, Anne-Marie, President Biden has been very outspoken about ending what he calls the epidemic of gun violence in America.
He certainly has been. You gave us a whole list of shootings that have happened across the country. Do we know the motive or motives behind any of these shootings?
Well, in the Colorado Springs shooting, Anne-Marie, we know that this was a targeted and an isolated attack. Police say that the gunman shot and killed his girlfriend, as well as 5 others at the birthday party before turning the gun on himself. In Phoenix, it also appears to be an isolated incident. There were several people between the ages of 18 and 22 attending a party or a function at the Phoenix hotel. That fight that was started at that function escalated to the point where there was the shooting. Anne-Marie.
Wow. All right, Laura, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Shalom, 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 Israel. This is Captain Paul Israel from Kingdom Builders of Israel, LLC. And today's class topic is going to be on celebrating Mother's Day is pagan. Again, today's class topic today is going to be on celebrating Mother's Day is pagan. Okay, Israel, this is a good class topic to discuss due to the fact that many of our people still partake in the things of this world. You know, so far, you know, it's evident based upon the curses that's put upon us when we break Yahweh's laws and serve other gods, because these pagan holidays that America celebrates all go back to worshiping other gods. And of course, you looked at the news video prior, before we get on this subject, that you've seen what resulted in the celebration of Mother's Day, and you had somewhat like a massacre. I guess you had over 10 different shootings or different type of situations occurring in America during this particular day, as far as or preparation for Mother's Day celebration. And our people, you know, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are prone to continue in this foolishness and they anger the Most High. Okay, so when we go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15, it says, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy Elohim, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." So again, these curses result in death, harm, trials and tribulations that we face throughout our life. And we think in this American dream philosophy that we can overcome these curses by, you know, doing the similar things that the other nations do. Also, the other nations may get judged for doing these wicked things too as well, but primarily the hardship and the harsh reality results on the blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, because the laws of the Most High were given to Yahweh's chosen people, who are the Israelites. Okay, and also if you look at this next video right here, you will see a Hispanic family get murdered, okay, by a gentleman, you know, who's an Israelite, of course. But like I said, in general, these are generational curses, okay, because again, we're not supposed to celebrate birthdays, okay. Celebrating birthdays is a sin according to the Bible. And on this particular day, they were celebrating birthdays and also paying homage to Mother's Day. So again, when we are in sin, the Most High brings judgment. So let this be a warning, because judgment can come at any time when we do these things, because we are in the midst of sin when we practice the pagan customs and traditions of man. Okay, let's go to the book of Exodus chapter 20 verse 3. It says, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." So again, when we associate ourselves with these other gods, these pagan religions that we learned since slavery days, we're worshiping another god. So again, Israel, we have to repent and return back to Yahweh's law, statutes, and commandments. And also, I had uploaded the later on video that I'm gonna upload too as well, included in this video lesson, that it was already uploaded, but this is for the new viewers that have not really took heed to learning that Mother's Day is pagan and it's not of the Most High Yah's law, statutes, and commandments. But other than that, just watch this quick video and showing the consequences of breaking Yahweh's laws by practicing birthdays and also practicing Mother's Day celebration. You know, these are the judgments that come when we forsake Yahweh's law, statutes, and commandments, Israel. So watch this video, and then after this video, we're gonna get into the lesson. If you haven't watched it already, Israel, about Mother's Day being pagan video, it's just gonna be on this updated class lesson video to show our people the history of these things. Other than that, Israel, stay tuned for this lesson. Shalom.
The identities of the victims that were killed in a Colorado Mother's Day massacre that left 7 people dead have been released. According to a family member, 54-year-old Joanna Cruz, her son, 30-year-old Melvin Perez, his wife, 32-year-old Mayra Perez, and 21-year-old Jose Quiteres were all killed early Sunday morning, along with Mayra's sister, Sandra Ibarra, and brother Jose Ibarra, who were not pictured here. A person who was at the party but left before the shooting happened identified the shooter as Sandra Ibarra's boyfriend, who he described as quiet and serious, and said he always carried a gun. Police say it happened at a birthday party in Colorado Springs. Officers arrived at the home on the east side of the city just after midnight on Sunday morning. They found 6 dead adults and a man with serious injuries who later died at a hospital. Officials confirmed the suspected shooter was the boyfriend of one of the victims at the party, which was attended by friends, family, and children. The children who were there during the attack were not hurt and, according to officials, were placed with relatives. Police say the shooter walked inside the home and opened fire before shooting himself. The identity of the gunman has not been released, and authorities are still searching for a motive. Colorado Springs Police Chief Vince Niski released a statement saying words fall short to describe the tragedy that took place this morning. As the chief of police, a husband, a father, as a grandfather, my heart breaks for the families who have lost someone they love and for the children who have lost their parents. This shooting was Colorado's worst mass shooting since a gunman killed 10 people at a Boulder supermarket on March 22nd.
The ancient Greeks were among the first to pay tribute to Mom. Sort of. Their spring festival honored Rhea, the mother of all Greek gods. That holiday didn't pan out. In medieval Britain, servants were given the fourth Sunday of Lent to travel home and spend the day with their moms. This custom was called Mothering Sunday. But the modern-era Mother's Day was created by Anna Marie Jarvis. Anna admired her mother, who had tended to the wounded during America's Civil War and later became a community activist. When young Anna was 12, it is believed she heard her mother pray that one day there might be a Memorial Day for mothers, for all the good that they do. Young Anna never forgot the prayer, and when her mom died in May of 1905, the plan for a holiday was born. On the second anniversary of her mom's death, Anna held a church memorial dedicated to her mother's good deeds. In May of 1908, Anna held another memorial and handed out white carnations, her mom's favorite flower. She contacted Philadelphia philanthropist John Wanamaker, who joined a Mother's Day committee in hopes of honoring all mothers all across the nation. In 1910, West Virginia became the first state to observe the second Sunday in May as Mother's Day. After a fierce letter-writing campaign, Anna got Congress to federally recognize the holiday. And in 1914, President Wilson signed a bill that officially made the second Sunday in May Mother's Day. The holiday was meant to be spent in church. Afterwards, sons and daughters would write loving letters to their mothers. Carnations were worn that day. Pink or red honored living mothers, and white honored moms who had passed. With each year, more and more Mother's Day carnations were sold. And by 1920, greeting card companies got into the Mother's Day biz. Anna was enraged by what she considered a lazy excuse for letters that should be handwritten. By 1924, the holiday creator was so appalled with the commercialization of Mother's Day that she petitioned to abolish it. In 1930, Anna was arrested for disturbing the peace at a Mother's Day carnation sale. Sadly, Anna spent the rest of her life and family inheritance fighting the holiday. She died in 1948, leaving no children to remember her. Since then, Mother's Day has become one of the most profitable holidays for florists and the phone company's highest volume day of the year. This probably wouldn't have pleased Anna, but deep down she would have to be satisfied that on her Mother's Day, millions of moms around the world receive extra attention and well-deserved hugs.
Mothers, they fed Mothers, they fed you, clothed you, and did that minor task of birthing you. Where would we be without them? Aside from non-existent, probably in not too good a shape. Humans have been celebrating moms and the things they do for millennia. In ancient Egypt, they celebrated the goddess Isis as the mother of Horus, who was the first pharaoh. In ancient Greece and Rome, they celebrated mother goddesses Cybele and Rhea, both of which had cults surrounding them. If you're gonna have a cult, one that is centered around mothers is probably a better route to go. The Romans had several festivals to celebrate mother goddesses. Most of these were in the spring. During the festivals of Hilaria, a statue of the goddess Cybele would be carried through the streets, followed by a display of arts and crafts. However, these pagan deities would not hold the spotlight forever. As Christianity took hold of Europe, they too would celebrate mothers. The early Christian church used these old festivals to celebrate the Virgin Mary. To honor the Virgin Mary, believers would leave flowers and gifts at the church that they were baptized in. However, it wouldn't be until the 16th century that individual mothers rather than mother goddesses or biblical matriarchs would be celebrated. England would declare this to be Mothering Day. However, English colonists in America would discontinue the tradition of Mothering Day because they kinda had a hostile wilderness to deal with, and that Mothering Day was still too Catholic for Puritans.
Shalom, 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 Israel. This is Captain Paul Israel from Kingdom Builders of Israel, LLC, located in Tucker, Georgia. And today's class lesson is going to be on Mother's Day is pagan and it's not of the Most High Yah. Again, Mother's Day is pagan and not of the Most High Yah. Okay, and this is a good topic for today because many of our people yesterday or the other day have celebrated Mother's Day because they believe that it's a day that they supposed to honor their mother on. But little that our people know, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans know, that this particular day is a pagan holiday, okay? Because the origin of it had nothing really to do with, let's say, your biological mother, you know, giving respect to her. It was always giving respect to the idol gods that was centered on being like the mother goddess of the world or the earth or the queen of heaven. They had the different nations had different names for these idol gods. And now with today's time frame, we have now said we're going to focus and giving praise and honor to our biological mother, when Yahweh never said, you know, declare a day for your mother to worship and serve. Never said that. Okay, we're going to go into this Bible, and we also had shown a little bit of history in the videos before this class lesson concerning Mother's Day. So we're just going to get into it. This is just a quick lesson. We're going to start out in the book of Exodus chapter 20 verse 3. It says, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." This is the first commandment that Yahweh set before the children of Israel after they left out of Egypt. Okay, you're not supposed to have no other gods but the Most High Yah. So when you go through the history of the gods of the nations concerning to the women goddesses, or the goddesses that they deem the Mother Earth or the Queen of Heaven, that goes into idol worshiping. Okay, just because now in today's time they put a different name on it and say Mother's Day, that doesn't take away from the origin of it. Yahweh don't change. He's not going to change, oh, because you put a different name title on it. Okay, but it all goes back to paganism and all go back to idol worshiping. So we're going to go to, before I go to the book of Jeremiah, we're going to go to another verse in verse 12, Exodus chapter 20 verse 12, where it's going to show proof that Yahweh told us to honor our father and mother, but he never said declare a day to do that on. Okay, it says this is the book of Exodus chapter 20 verse 12. Now this is in the 10 commandments. Okay, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yahweh thy Elohim giveth thee. So it say honor thy father and thy mother. So that ain't necessarily say what? Oh, honor thy father on the second month of May, or second Sunday of May. It didn't say that. It said honor thy father and thy mother. That's supposed to be evidence. It's something that you're supposed to do throughout your days. It say that thy days may be long. So you will have a long life. You're supposed to honor your father and mother. But according to Yahweh, he never said, oh, just honor your mother and father or on a particular day. You're supposed to do this throughout your generation. Okay, this is something that's a continuing process, not just a one-day process out the whole year. You know, and then of course you're supposed to honor them by showing respect to them. But again, if you know your father and mother ain't keeping no commandments, you're not supposed to be declaring no day for them to be honoring from them. You know what I'm saying? Because they're supposed to be what? Keeping the commandments. And many of our fathers and mothers have not been keeping the commandments. Now, if that's to say don't respect your mother and father, no, that's just saying you don't have a right to declare a day for them to be honored on like that, or every year to be honored on. You know what I mean? Because your honor and praise is supposed to go to Yahweh every day. You know, he has certain days that he wants to be honored on, through like the feast days and also like the Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? This is what Yahweh's protocol, his rule is, not you to come up and follow the ways of the other nations. Okay, we're going to go to the Jeremiah chapter 7 verse 18, giving an example in the Babylonian captivity what our fathers and foremothers were doing in captivity. Similar to like they doing today. History repeats itself. It says Jeremiah chapter 7 verse 18. It said the children gather wood and the fathers kindle fire, and the women and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. You see this? The Most High gets angry when he sees these things being taken place. When you giving honor to any type of form of a mother heaven, mother goddess, or even your quote unquote mother per se, when you Because again, during these days, what they do on Sunday, they go out to eat, or somebody may bake a cake. The children may try to all gather around each other, the fathers, the children, and gather around on this particular day to give honor and praise to their mother. Which you supposed to do this any day throughout the year. You know what I'm saying? To respect your mother, but don't declare a day to be praising and worshiping no woman. That goes into idolatry, or worshiping the woman in general. And this is what the children of Israel were doing back under the Babylonian captivity. And as you can see, it says the children gather wood, the fathers kindle fire, the women, you know what I'm saying, and they made cakes to the Queen of Heaven, similar to like they're doing now. But now they're just doing it in a state of mind. Oh, I'm giving praise and honor to my mother. No, it goes all back to paganism. Okay, so we go to the history channel. You know, of course, they got a website, and of course, you know, you watch the video on about the Mother's Day origin that is pagan, and this is what primarily history of the Mother's Day. The history.com is going to give you the understanding history of Mother's Day. It says celebrations of mothers and motherhood can be traced back to ancient Greeks and Romans. You see this? It goes back to the ancient Greeks and Romans, and also it does go back to Egypt as well, with Isis and so forth. It said who held festivals in honor of the mother goddess Rhea and Cybele. But the clearest modern precedent for Mother's Day is the early Christian festival known as Mothering Sunday. So this is why primarily, you know, is what the Mother's Day celebration is done on what? Sunday, because it all comes back and stems from the Christianity festival Mothering Sunday. Okay, it said once a major tradition in the United Kingdom and parts of Europe, this celebration fell on the fourth Sunday in Lent and was originally seen as a time when the faithful would return to their mother church, the main church in the vicinity of their home, for a special service. Over time, the Mothering Sunday tradition shifted into a more secular holiday, and children would present their mothers with flowers and other tokens of appreciation. And then it says the custom eventually faded in popularity before merging with the American Mother's Day in the 1930s and 1940s. So this is what primarily they was doing years prior, before the traditional Mother's Day came about. It was always known as the Mother Sunday, and it occurred during the fourth Sunday in Lent, which is another idolatry custom. But now today they do it on the second Sunday in the month of May. Okay, let's go to the Mothering Sunday. Okay, let's get the origin of it. It says Mothering Sunday. This is on the Wikipedia. You can look this up. It said Mother Sunday is celebrated by Christians in the United Kingdom, Ireland, and some other English-speaking countries. It is generally observed in the parishes of Church of England and the Roman Catholic Church, as well as the free churches in British Isles and many Anglican parishes throughout the world, especially in Canada and Australia. It falls on the fourth Sunday in Lent, exactly 3 weeks before Easter Day. Okay, once observed as a day on which people would visit their mother church, it has become an occasion for honoring the mothers of children and giving them presents. It is increasingly being called Mother's Day, although that name also belongs to the American and Canadian secular holiday, which is quite distant from the original Mothering Sunday. So as you can see, the Mothering Sunday started during like the 16th century. Okay. It says during the 16th century, people returned to their mother church for a service which was held on Latter Sunday. In this context, one's mother church was either the church where one was baptized You know what I'm saying? So this was the church normally where the people was first started when they first got baptized, and then they'll go with their mother. The local parish church or the nearest cathedral. Okay, anyone who did this was commonly said to have gone and mothering, although whether this term preceded the observance of Mothering Sunday is unclear. It said in later times, Mothering Sunday became a day when domestic servants were given a day off to visit their mother church, usually with their own mothers and other family members. It was often the only time that entire families could gather together, since on their days they were prevented from doing so by conflicting working hours. So they had different working conditions. But this is why our people go to church on Sunday, primarily during Mother's Day, based upon the Mothering Sunday tradition during the 16th century. Okay, it all stems back to paganism, and again, this is not the children of Israel custom, because again, as we read in Jeremiah chapter 7 verse 18, we provoke the Most High to anger when we give into these sacrifices is unto idols, you know what I'm saying? And then if you go to Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 1 as an example that we're not supposed to learn anything from the other nations as far as how to do idol worshiping. If you looked at the videos, we seen the history of our people serving idol gods, you know what I'm saying? And then we're now following that example. This is Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 1. Hear ye the word which Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. See, he's not talking about all nations. He's only dealing with the children of Israel. Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 2. It said, thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. So the heathen are dismayed at them, and this is what particularly the other nations are always admiring the other nations as far as their idol worshiping. They take off from each nation idol god and then just change the name to something else, similar to today. You know, instead of putting titles on different idol gods, now, you know, as far as the ancient titles, now they change it into something else. They always change it under different captivities. Okay, let's go to, that's pretty much it on that. Now we're gonna go to the lady that supposedly was the founder of the more modernized Mother's Day. Her name was Anna Jarvis. She was an Edomite, a so-called white woman. Okay, not an Israelite. Okay, she was a founder of Mother's Day in the United States. Her mother had frequently expressed a desire for the establishment of such a holiday, and after her mother's death, Jarvis led the movement for commemoration. However, as the years passed, Jarvis grew disenchanted with the growing commercialization of the observation. She herself did not profit from the day, and even attempted to have Mother's Day rescinded. She died in sanitarium, her medical bills paid by people in the floral and greeting card industry. So even when she found it and put the stamp on there, they made profit and made money. She didn't make no money off this thing. That's why she was upset, because she couldn't make no money, and they took this whole thing, Mother's Day, and made mockery of her mother, basically, because this was her thing. You know, and she wanted to get rid of the holiday. But now we still, as a nation of people, still uphold this holiday when this has nothing to do with the children of Israel. Okay. Let's go to the Mother's Day. We're gonna go, this is all on Wikipedia, so these is not going to be my words. Okay, this is going to show proof that Mother's Day that we celebrate goes back into paganism. So we saw it in the previous videos before this class lesson. Now we're going to read it and what, you know, they have on file, what they have recorded, that Mother's Day it goes back to paganism. It says Mother's Day is a celebration honoring the mother of the family, as well as motherhood, maternal bonds, and the influence of mothers in society. It is celebrated on various days in many parts of the world, most commonly in the months of March or May. It complements similar celebrations honoring family members such as Father's Day, Siblings Day, and Grandparents' Day. The modern Mother's Day began in the United States. That's the more traditional sense, like the things that we celebrate now based upon, the tradition of today. It says the modern Mother's Day began in the United States at the initiative of Anna Jarvis, which we just stated earlier, in the early 20th century. This is not directly related to many traditional celebrations. See how they try to separate it? You can't separate it. This is not directly related to the many traditional celebrations of mothers and motherhood that have existed throughout the world over thousands of years. So now what this is telling you, that the celebration of mothers and motherhood was always celebrated. It was always celebrated under these different nations. Okay, so there's no difference. They just trying to separate it, but there's no difference. It's the same. It says such as the Greek cult. You see what it said? They even put a cult up in here. See, the Greeks celebrated Mother's Day, or celebration of motherhood, and look what the term they put. They said the Greek cult. But they, today they say the children in Israel, the black Hebrew Israelites, who they identify as being as black Hebrew Israelites, oh, y'all in a cult. But no, y'all the white scholars even said that these people that's practicing celebration of mothers and motherhood, y'all are a cult, because it's not biblical. You know what I'm saying? If it's not biblical, then it's going off as hell. So it says such as the tradition, it says such as the Greek cult to Cybele, Rhea, the great mother of the gods, the Roman festival of Hilaria, or the Christian Mothering Sunday celebration, originally a commemoration of Mother Church, not motherhood. However, in some countries, Mother's Day is still synonymous with these older traditions. Now they had to correct it. You see how they said, oh, this is not directly related to many traditional celebrations. But then when you go down, it said, however, in some countries, Mother's Day is still synonymous with these older traditions. So letting you know what? It's still connected to these idol gods out here. Because if it's the origin of something is wicked, it don't matter how you change the name down the road, it still is wicked. You okay? And then it says, let's go. But yeah, that's other than we already read that part. But other than that, it's just like people don't know history, so they are just gravitating to it. So then it says, such as the Greek cult to Cybele. So Cybele was an idol god. We're going to go to Cybele. Okay, Cybele was an idol god that the Romans, they were primarily the Greeks, but the Romans changed the name down the road to something else as well. So they take idol gods and form it into something else. See, it says Cybele, it says she may have a possible forerunner in earliest Neolithic, where statues of a plump woman sometimes sitting have been found. Evacuation, only known goddess, different deity. Let's see, in Greece, Cybele met with a mixed reception. She became partially assimilated to aspects of the earth goddess Gaia, of her possibility Minoan equivalent Rhea. And then it said, and of the harvest mother goddess Demeter. Some city-states, notably Athens, invoke her as a protector, but her most celebrated Greek rites and processions show her as an essentially foreign, exotic mystery goddess who arrives in a lion-drawn chariot to the companion of wild music, wine, and disorderly ecstatic following. Okay. See, this is what the Greeks was doing with Cybele. But then in Rome, they changed the Cybele character to Magna Mater. So in Rome, now this is the Rome. This is when Rome was in rulership. It said Cybele became known as Magna Mater. The Roman state adopted and developed a particular form of her coat. You see what I'm saying? Now it's still talking about a coat. But this is what Cybele looked like. Okay. In Rome, basically. You see that? So they take on different forms. So in Greece, she was known as Cybele. In Rome, she was known as Magna Mater. Okay, which goes back into idol worship. Then when you go to the Mother's Day, it also said Rhea, the great mother of God. So you had another idol god that was worshipped called Rhea. It said Rhea is a character. This is in Wikipedia. It said Rhea is a character in Greek mythology, the Titaness, daughter of the earth goddess Gaia and the sky god Uranus, Gaia's son. She is also the older sister and wife of Cronus. In early traditions, she is known as the mother of gods and therefore is strongly associated with Gaia and Cybele. So we just established Cybele was another goddess who has similar functions. The classical Greeks saw her as the mother of the Olympian gods and goddesses, but not as an Olympian goddess in her own right. The Romans identify her with Magna Mater, their form of Cybele, and the goddess Ops. So again, as you can see, these Romans and Greeks form all these different goddesses, you know, and they all similar to each other because again, the nations gods are just idols. But notice what it says is a coat. It started like a coat fashion. Okay. So this is what our people were doing in these areas. This is why the Most High sent Apostle Paul and the other disciples to go teach the Israelites that were scattered in Greece and also in Rome the gospel. Okay, because these were the things our people was following. Just like now, how the Most High sending us out here now to tell you that these are all idol gods. It has nothing to do with you know, giving honor and respect to your mother. Okay, but this is how they do it as a cover up. But really, you're worshiping the gods of Rhea, the gods of Cybele, the gods of Isis and Horus, and so forth. Let's go to, let me go back to Mother's Day on here. But Israel, we got to repent. You know, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans got to repent. And then we're going to go to the establishment of the holiday, as we saw in the video when it actually took place. Okay, so again, this is the Mother's Day holiday history. This is on Wikipedia, so you can easily look this up. Now this is the key I wanted to get. This is establishment of the holiday. This is establishment of the Mother's Day holiday. The modern holiday of Mother's Day was first celebrated in 1908 when Anna Jarvis, which we already established, held a memorial for her mother at St. Andrew's Methodist Church in Grafton, West Virginia. So again, this particular Mother's Day first celebration was conducted at a Christian church, Andrews Methodist Church in Grafton, West Virginia, at St. Andrew's Methodist Church. So now St. Andrew's Methodist Church, which is the same church that Anna Jarvis was attending, at the St. Andrew's Methodist Church now holds the International Mother's Day Shrine. So when we see this, the shrine, that's an idol. That's a statue monument that the other nations build, you know, in commemorating their idol gods. Okay, so this shrine is what they have up in this area, but we're gonna get a little bit of history of it. So it says this is Wikipedia, the International Mother's Day Shrine. That's an idol. Okay, that's a statue. Okay, Andrews Methodist Episcopal Church, the mother church of Mother's Day, was incorporated as the International Mother's Day Shrine on May 15, 1962 as a shrine to all mothers. The shrine was constructed in 1873 and is located along Main Street in downtown Grafton in Taylor County, West Virginia. You see what it said? It was constructed, okay, in 1873. So it's always been there, but they declared it to a shrine to all mothers. So again, when you're celebrating Mother's Day, you're worshiping a shrine, you're worshiping an idol. And it's also looked upon as a monument to be worshipped, because it says the shrine is open by appointment and available for wedding service and tour groups. So if you want to look at the shrine, the reflection is what this looks like right here. It says the International Mother's Day Shrine. So behind every pagan holiday, there's going to be somewhat like a shrine, like a statue. Okay. So this is what they have in place for the mother. Okay. This is what they have symbolic for the pagan custom. Okay. Exit out of that. But as you can see, it's all pagan. You know, this is what they had. This is really what you're worshiping. You know, a statue, and it's right next to the church. Okay, Israel, we gotta repent. We gotta come out this madness, man. You know, this is a day that they declared it. So again, you know, this is all idolatry. Okay, this is what we're not supposed to do as a people. Okay, so again, Israel, if you're doing Mother's Day, sisters, brothers and sisters, and children, y'all have to learn how to repent, keep the law, statutes, and commandments. So I just had to bring that out. That, hey, behind every, you know, pagan holiday that our people celebrate, there's an idol god behind it. So this is what our people don't understand. So again, if you go to the West Virginia, they have a Mother's Day shrine next to the church. Okay, and so other than that, there's no getting around it. And the Most High Yah is against our people setting up idols, and then whether in the house or whether worshiping and sacrificing to it every year. You know, this is what our people do. You know, so we got to repent. Israel is one thing not to know, but now you know that we're not supposed to be worshiping no idols, even though you may not have this Mother's Day shrine in the house. But this right here is the origin, and they have it in the origin area where the Mother's Day was first conducted at. Okay, as far as in the United States. But of course, you look at other nations, they always had something symbolic similar to celebrating the mother goddess of the earth and to all. Okay. Other than that, I hope this was a good lesson for you to have understanding on, because this is a topic many people try to stray away from due to the fact that it's a particular holiday most of our people like to uphold. Okay. Other than that, Israel, this concludes the lesson. Stay tuned for more lessons that's coming. Other than that, Israel, shalom.